All right, everybody, this is a guided walkthrough for level number 22 from the Temperance CTF labs on HackMyVM.eu. So for each one of these levels, the first thing we need to do is we need to figure out what the goal is for this level. So this is level number 22. In this mission, we receive a list of decimal numbers, and you must return them converted into their values in ASCII. So let's make this a little smaller so we can see it. Yeah. So convert their value into ASCII. So for example, if we get these numbers over here, we need to send this ASCII back. So if anybody's wondering what's going on with the ASCII and the decimal numbers, let's look up the ASCII table. So ASCII is a list of encoded characters for computers. And each one of the characters over here are associated with a decimal number, a hex number, a binary number, and they also correspond with the symbol. For example, we've got over here, the decimal number is 48, the hex number is 30, and the character is the 0 character. So any one of these characters in the ASCII list, so for example, we got 0, which corresponds with the number 48, or the letter A, which corresponds with the decimal number 65, rather. So we need to figure this out, and we need to convert these and send them back to the server. So this is what we're going to do. So over here, we've got the script for the previous level. And what we need to do is we need to adjust the script so that it matches this one. So this level. So what we're going to do is we're going to be using the socket module. So the Python socket module is how we can interact with networking ports, arbitrary networking ports on a server. So for example, the host for this challenge is going to be temperance.hackmyvm.eu, and we're going to be communicating over port 9988. So with socket.socket, what we're going to do is we're going to create a socket object to interact with the server. So with socket.socket as S, so this is what we do with the socket module to create a socket object. So the socket object in this case is going to be called S, and the first thing we're going to do with the S object is we're going to do a connection to the host and to the port. Then we're going to connect to the host and receive the message. We're going to print out receiving intro. We're going to create a variable, which is the socket receiving a bunch of information. So in this case, it's going to be 1024 bytes. So that's a kilobyte. And we're going to print out that data. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to send some information to the server to select the level we want to interact with. In this case, it's going to be level number 22. What we need to do is we need to adjust the script from the previous level to match this level, because we want to access level number 22. Okay, and then after that, we're going to receive the initial data from the server. This is the data that we need to modify before we can send it back. So we're going to print receiving challenge. We're going to receive another kilobyte, and then we're going to print out that data. So what we want to do is we want to workshop this script to make sure that it's working at various stages of the program. So right after we receive the data from the server, we're just going to make sure that this works, and then we're going to proceed from there. So we're going to write out the script, and in the other part of the window, okay, so in the other window here, we're going to run the script. So we're just going to do Python level22.py, and we receive the initial bytes from the server. So we receive a challenge. What we need to do in this level is we need to convert these numbers into ASCII characters. So the first thing we need to do is we need to convert the bytes into strings. Because the socket only sends and receives bytes, we're going to receive bytes from the server. We need to turn the bytes into a string, because in order to do anything with strings, we need to have a strings object. Okay, so what we want to do first is we want to convert these bytes into a string. So that's what we're going to do over here. So this is the step. So save the data2 variable, which is this one over here, into an integer, but we don't want to save it as an integer, we want to save it as a string. So we're going to do, let's just call this data string, and we're going to, this is going to be data2, but it's going to be decoded from bytes into UTF-8. And we're going to print a little message. These are the bytes converted to a string. And we're going to print out the data string. Okay, we're going to comment out everything else. We're going to write that out. And then we're going to see if the string conversion worked. So bytes object has no attribute decoded. Do you mean decode? Oh, is it not decoded? Okay, so it's just decode. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, so these are the bytes converted to a string. We've got our string of numbers here. So what we need to do is we need to convert this string over here, we need to convert this into a list. After we've converted into a list, we can do the conversion from the decimal numbers into the ASCII characters. But the first thing we need to do is we need to turn this into a list. Okay, so this is going to be the step. It's going to be convert the string into a list. So it's going to be data lists, and I need to look this up almost every time. Hold on. So Python convert string to list. Okay, so the built-in list function can be used directly on a string. Let's see, what does it do? So list my string, and then it's going to be this. Okay, so this seems to work. So it's just the list, run the list function. So data list is going to be list on the variable data string. And let's try printing out some stuff. So this is the list. This is the string converted to a list. We're going to print out data list, and let's comment out all the rest of this. Okay, let's see if this works. This is a string converted to a list. So the problem here, let's see. Okay, so the problem is that it's turned each one of these characters into, what we want is we want to separate this by the spaces. So how do we do that? Okay, so I think we're looking for the split method instead. Used to split a string into a list of substrings based on a specified delimiter. If no delimiter is provided, it splits the string at white space characters by default. So it looks like we used the wrong method in this case. So in this case, let's do split. It's I think this should be pretty easy. If you squint, you can see the words. Oh, okay. So this is a method. So this is going to be data string dot split. All right, let's run it again. These are the bytes converted to a string, and then this is the string converted to a list. I think we need to specify that we're separating it by spaces. Let's try that again. string object cannot be interpreted as an integer. Data string dot split. So okay, let me see what I'm doing wrong here. Sentence dot split. Word list equals sentence dot split. Oh, okay. I think in this case, what I'm doing wrong is okay. So data string dot split. Yeah, I put in something here. I shouldn't have put in any arguments for the method. Okay, this is the string converted to a list. So this works. This is what we want. So the numbers have been separated by wherever there were spaces. That's great. So the next thing we need to do is we need to do a little for loop that converts these numbers into ASCII characters. Okay, so let's see. We're going to do a for loop which converts the elements in the string, sorry, in the list into ASCII characters. Okay, so this is the for loop. Let's write it over here. I guess we can define this as a function. That's probably the better way to do it. So we're going to make a function. Let's just call this convert decimal to ASCII. And it takes in a list. Okay, and what are we going to do in this function? So we're just going to run the for loop for I in list. I wonder if we can use list. Maybe the argument, we'll call it, let's just call it target list, just because I don't want to overlap with any keywords, because list seems like it could be a keyword. So for I in target list, we're going to take the integer of I. So the integer of I, we're going to do something to it. And we need to add it, we're going to add it to a string. So for I in the target list, we're going to make something called the ASCII string. And we're going to define it as an empty string. Okay. So ASCII string equals empty string. So the integer of the iterable, so for each object in the list, we're going to do, there's a function that turns decimal integers into ASCII characters. I think it's called ord. Python ord function. Okay, so the ord function in Python is a built-in function that takes a single Unicode character as an argument and returns its corresponding Unicode point as an integer. Oh, so ord is the opposite of what we want. Let's see. So there's ord and let's see. So Python decimal to ASCII function. So working for the CHR function. So CHR is going to take in a decimal number or a decimal integer, and it's going to output the ASCII character. So I think that's what we want. So we're going to run CHR on the integer of I. And we need to save this result to the ASCII string. So ASCII string, so plus equals CHR, CHR on the integer of I. And so after the for loop, we're just going to return the ASCII string. Actually, wait, should we put ASCII string inside of the for loop, or should we put it outside of the for loop? Because this could, I don't know if this is what we should be doing. So return the ASCII string at the end. Okay. All right, so I guess after we've defined the script, we can run the script. So call the script. Sorry, call the function. So call the function. It's going to be convert dec to ASCII. And the list we're going to use is data list. Okay, so convert dec to ASCII, and we should probably define this as a variable. So let's see. Let's just call this converted string. And then we will print this out, print out a message. The message is going to be, this is the decimal numbers converted to ASCII. And we'll print out converted string. Okay, so this is, well, I hope this works. If not, we get to debug it. This is the decimal. Okay, these are the decimal numbers. Got to make sure that it's all grammatically correct too. So yeah, this didn't work because it only only returned one character. Okay. Oh, I see. So the problem is that inside the for loop, we're always resetting the ASCII string, so it has to be outside. Okay, so let's initialize the ASCII string over here. Okay, so yeah, let's write this out and then we'll try it again. Okay, these are the decimal numbers. Okay, okay, write that out. Run the thing again. So these are the decimal numbers converted to ASCII. So this looks like what we want because we've converted these numbers into ASCII characters. So the last thing we need to do is we need to convert this string into bytes. We need to convert it into bytes because we need to send it over the socket, and the socket can't send anything that isn't bytes. So we need to turn the string into bytes. Okay. So the next thing we do is this step over here, convert the string into bytes. So bytes is going to be converted string. Converted string.encode into UTF-8. And let's just make sure this works before we send this back to the server and complete the challenge. Okay, these are the decimal numbers converted to ASCII here, and this is the string converted to bytes here. So the last thing we need to do is we just need to send these back with this. So print sending challenge, and then the socket objects s.send, we're going to send those bytes. And then hopefully we can receive a flag from the server to complete the challenge. Let me get rid of this stuff, and let's run the script one more time. Okay, so it looks like it worked. So what do we do in this challenge over here? So in this challenge, we received a list of decimal numbers, and then we needed to return them converted into their value in ASCII. So if we receive a bunch of numbers over here, we need to convert the numbers into their ASCII characters and then send that back to the server. So with our script, whatever we receive from the server, we convert it into a string over here. And then afterwards, we convert the string into a list. So we receive the numbers over here. These are bytes. We convert that into a string. We convert the string into a list, which is this over here. And then we ran a for loop over here, which transforms each one of these characters in the list into the ASCII character, and then we add it to this ASCII string over here, and we return the ASCII string. So after that, we have to convert that ASCII string to bytes. The bytes we send back to the server, and then we receive the flag. Okay, so the flag is HMV, ASCII is good. Awesome. So let's grab the flag, and let's submit it to the server. Okay, paste in the flag. Okay, so it says, you have submitted the flag successfully. Great. Okay, everybody, that was a guided walkthrough for level number 22 from the Temperance CTF Labs over at HackMyVM.eu. If you enjoyed this guided walkthrough, please click on the like and subscribe buttons on the video and leave a comment underneath the video. But until next time, HackerFrogs out.
Hey there, HackerFrogs! Are you enjoying this workshop? Learning new concepts and skills? If so, there's a way you can support the channel, and it's totally free. Just click on the subscribe button below the video. Also, click on the like button. And if you have questions or comments on this workshop, please leave them below the video. Thanks for listening. And now, back to our scheduled programming.